He believed in hygiene well enough, but these little private victories stopped him from starting a riot. Most of the judgy, man-faced housewives who shopped here deserved it. The way they looked down on him flushed the back of his neck scarlet. On particularly low days, he folded all types of his bodily discharge into the tara masalata. He sold an uncanny amount of that bourgeois shite. He had worked for Kilfeathers for over a year. It was never meant to be that long. It was just that he had to feed himself and pay his own dig money each week, and the supermarket was the only business that would take him. Mr. Kilfeather was a parsimonious bastard. He liked to staff the shop with anyone he didn't have to pay a full adult wage, and Shuggie found himself able to take short shifts that fit around his patchy schooling. In his dreams, he always intended to move on. He had always loved to brush and play with hair. It was the only thing that made time truly fly. When he had turned 16, he had promised himself he would go to the hairdressing college that sat south of the River Clyde. He had gathered up all of his inspiration, the sketches he had copied from the Littlewoods catalogue and pages ripped from the Sunday magazines. Then he had gone to Cardonald to see about the evening classes. At the bus stop outside the college, he alighted with half a dozen 18-year-olds. They wore the newest, most fashionable gear and talked with a buzzing confidence that masked their own nerves. Shuggie walked half as fast as they did. He watched them go in the front door, then he recrossed the street to catch the bus going the other way. He started at Kilfeathers the following week. Shuggie killed most of his morning break poring over the damaged tins in the discount bins. He found 3 small cans of Scottish salmon that were barely damaged. The labels were scuffed and marked, but the tins themselves were intact. With the last of his wages, he paid for his small basket and placed the tins of fish inside his old school bag, which he locked again inside his locker. He sloped up the stairs to the staff canteen and tried to look nonchalant as he passed the table of university students who worked the easy summer shifts and spent their breaks looking self-important, surrounded with thick folders of revision notes. He fixed his gaze to the middle distance and sat down in the corner, not with, but near enough to the girls from the tills. In truth, the girls were 3 middle-aged Glasgow women. Ina, the ringleader, was a rake-thin, poker-faced woman with greasy hair. She had no eyebrows to speak of, but she did have a faint moustache, which seemed unfair to Shuggie. Ina was rough, even for this end of Glasgow, but she was also kind and generous in the way hard-done-to people often are. Nora, the youngest of the 3, wore her hair scraped tightly back and held in place with an elastic band. Her eyes, like Ina's, were small and sharp, and at 33, she was a mother of 5 already. The last of the group was Jackie. She was different to these other 2 in that she very much resembled a woman. Jackie was a riotous gossip, a big, bosomy sofa of a woman. It was her that Shuggie liked best. He sat down near them and caught the ending to the saga of Jackie's latest man. It was guaranteed that the women were always full of good-hearted patter. Twice now they had taken him along on their bingo nights, and as the women drank and howled with laughter, he sat amongst them like a teenager who couldn't be trusted to stay home alone. He had liked the way they sat easily together, how their bulks surrounded him, and the softness of their flesh pressed into his side. He liked how they fussed with him, and although he protested, how they pushed his hair from his eyes and licked their thumbs to wipe the corners of his mouth. For the women, Shuggie offered some form of male attention, and it did not matter that he was only 16 and 3 months. Under the La Scala bingo tables, they had each tried at least once to